Good morning for AM 1340 and 99.5 FM WGRV. This is Reid Seals, and I'm here for our monthly interview with Greene County Mayor Kevin Morrison. Good morning, Kevin.
Good morning, Reid.
First question I have, can you explain the purpose of the transferred properties that were, voted on at the meeting on Monday?
Yes, Reid. There were three parcels of property, one at the old Sunnyside school location, one at the old West Pine school location, and a portion of property on Hal Hennard Road adjacent to the Range and Firearms Sports Complex. So the school system declared those properties surplus properties because they're going to sell at public auction the old Sunnyside school location as well as the West Pine school location. And we have, of course, as everyone knows, a couple of convenience centers at those locations. And upon coming into office, a lot of the land that the convenience centers sit on were in a very sort of precarious state of ownership. So being that we don't desire to move those locations and the public's used to those, we asked for the transfer of those properties as a quitclaim type situation or a long-term lease so that we would have those locations for convenience centers in time to come. So that was approved by the commission Monday night.
Now, why did the Sheriff's Department have to purchase vehicles for next fiscal year during the current fiscal year?
Well, it wasn't a have-to situation. We've sort of learned by trial and error, and the sheriff rightly concluded we have two manufacturers in the country that manufacture the police package vehicles, Dodge and Ford, and the sheriff has money set aside in his budget every year for the purchase of a certain number of these patrol vehicles. And because the big three automakers typically have a window for manufacturing these that doesn't necessarily coincide with when we pass our budget. So again, the sheriff, I'm sure, looking at the ambulance purchases that we've made, we've purchased 4 ambulances now, and we haven't received any of them, primarily because of COVID-19 here recently, but most especially because the commercial vehicles and the specialty vehicles that the big three manufacture are only produced at a certain time of the year. So when the money is approved, then the vehicles aren't available. So the commission rightly decided and to give the sheriff the authorization to spend the money in his budget for those vehicles, or at least set aside that money in advance so that we could sort of coincide with when we could most opportunely get those vehicles in our possession.
Now, the county is in the middle of the budget process. Does it look like there will be a tax increase this year? I know that's a big question on everybody's mind.
No, I think it goes without saying that the state of emergency that we're under, unprecedented, historic, challenging times, most governments, including Greene County's, is looking to hold the line with regard to any type of fee or tax increase with regard to budget matters. Certainly that's the guidance that's been put out across Greene County and all of our departments. There are a number of departments, for instance, that have their own fund balance that they may be drawing funds out of for equipment purchases or material purposes. But other than that, Reid, we are engaged in the budget process. The budget is being developed very well. We look to have a budget again passed this year for the second time in a row prior to the beginning of the fiscal year. And we don't anticipate any type of tax or fee increase. We're certainly not going to ask for that. And but we think we'll have a good solid budget going forward that is balanced, or will be balanced, and serve our citizens well. So.
Now, I've noticed driving around that the old Consumer Credit Union building is coming along. I've seen how it says the Greene County Election Commission on the side now, and I was just wondering what specific progress is going on there at that building.
I go up there about twice a week or so, Reid, to check on the progress. I know that there have been tremendous progress made on the CCU building. Of course, the contract award winner, a local contractor here, we've had many conversations with him about deadlines for the election commission being moved in. That would take place here about the end of the month, no later than the middle of May. They have been a very good social distancing location, I might add, for some of the contractors to get their work done. But the ADA bathroom is completed. Wall construction is needed to do that is back in place. Wiring, the generator that we discussed last month is in place and wired in for the EMA portion. So we're starting some finishing things with regard to the ceiling, flooring, that sort of thing. The painters have been up there. The highway department is constructing a very nice sidewalk back to the EMA location that they'll have completed very soon. The only thing that's sort of left to do that we don't necessarily have monies for right now that probably is next in priority is to do something with putting some type of top or cap on the parking lot. But it's going to be a tremendous location for the election commission. The signage is up on the building. It is very clearly visible from the 11E, as you can see, and did note that it does say Greene County Election Commission up there. We're very proud of that. We're looking now at LED lighting for the building and the flag. So once we put the flag up, then we'll be in business up there, and we look forward to that. It will be a great location for early voting. There will be plenty of room, no waiting, new voting equipment that we've already used, and it's an exciting time up there, so it'll be great.
Now, the governor's announced that the stay-at-home order will end on April 30th. At least that's the plan. So what is the plan for bringing Greene County specifically out of the stay-at-home order?
Well, the governor on Monday, in his address, said that the stay-at-home order that the state has in place, the statewide stay-at-home order, will expire on April 30th. As goes hand in hand, Greene County's order, declared at the same time that the governor issued his order March the 30th, will expire as well. What will not expire here in Greene County on April 30th will be the state of emergency. So the governor has promised a sort of a graduated or echeloned plan for business and industry to gradually reopen Tennessee's economy. Obviously, the thing that concerns everyone most is doing this sort of prematurely or too soon, and we have a big spike in coronavirus cases. And it puts us in a position where our healthcare system may be overwhelmed somewhat. We're fortunate here to have as few cases as we do. Unfortunately, we have experienced 2 deaths here in Greene County, which, again, we all certainly regret, and we don't want to put ourselves back in that position. Going forward, I think what you'll see, and I do believe that we can do a lot of things, we just have to do them somewhat differently than we've done them in the past, and we have to do them smarter. Obviously, we know social distancing works. Testing is beginning to ramp up, so we'll have more of a better, accurate picture of who has had this illness, who has the illness, who hasn't had the illness, and we can take steps to do that. So close service businesses like hair salons, tattoo parlors, and the like, again, we're going to wait for specific guidance on the state to see what their plan is for those types of businesses. As far as restaurants and retail and other forms of business, I have been in contact with some of the CEOs of our industry here who have offered plans for having employees in PPE, divided lunch shifts, rotational staffing, graduated staffing. In other words, they bring in part of their staff this week before they bring in more staff the following week and before they ramp up to full production. So they are taking steps, directional, for instance, rotation inside the plant, arrows on the floor. For instance, our retail stores may have arrows on the floor for customer directing so that the traffic's all flowing in one direction. We'll certainly come out with a plan to reopen Greene County facilities gradually by restricting perhaps the number of people inside the building. Some institutions may require masks or gloves, If those things, obviously, if they're available to the person, would be a good benefit. We may see continued shopping hours for senior citizens or those with special needs type things, for time set aside for them to come in and complete their business. So there's a myriad of things being considered, and I'm sure they'll be rolled out in a comprehensive plan. The state of emergencies that I have issued week after week, I've tried to divide and be very clear about what individuals need to be doing, what the government is doing and should do, and what business and industry as well should be doing. We've coincided that with a coronavirus town hall panel that seeks to answer frequently answered questions, and we'll be doing one of those as well. We do those every Friday afternoon at 1 o'clock. The first one being on Good Friday, and then the second one following that. And this will be the third in the series, and it will be hosted here live at Radio Greenville, WGRV, and then streamed on the Facebook page and recorded so that you could play it back. But we seek to answer the frequently most asked questions about where we go from here. And once again, I think our community has handled this well. I certainly want to thank everyone for their cooperation and their patience to something that we can't see. And but it is very serious. Dr. Lewis, who addressed the Greene County Commission just 1 month ago, fell gravely ill with the coronavirus and has had a very, very tough month. I understand he's in a much better position and beginning to message us from his phone. We certainly wish him well and continue to pray for his speedy and complete recovery. But this is a rough illness, and we'll get through it. We'll emerge with a good plan to stand our economy back up, and we'll get back to business as usual. And it's just good to see that Greene County is resilient and strong as they are, patient and cooperative, and we'll be back stronger than ever.
Well, I want to thank Greene County Mayor Kevin Morrison for joining us this morning. This is AM 1340, 99.5 FM, WGRV, and I'm Reid Sills.